We the people unite.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's We the People Unite, and it's our Wednesday flagship show. How's everybody doing? How you doing?
Living
Hey. If you're in the comments, please, if you're in the chat, let us know. You know how much we love to talk to you. And as usual, we have a lot of topics to get to tonight. But on our panel, we have August and Andrea, Anitra, Momo, Katie, Lori, and Maureen. And then, of course, I'm Kim Page. Everybody take a deep breath. Yeah, we're going to get through this. We keep saying that. We're going to get through it. So much so I'm wearing my hat tonight, getting ready for this weekend. And we're going to talk about that towards the end of the show. So to kind of set us up, I know right now it feels like everything is falling apart, right? We have escalating tensions overseas. We have confusion at home, even in places that are supposed to be stable, like the airport. Holy shit, what's happening there? And then we've got these odd decisions being made that are raising actually more questions than answers, like boots on the ground, a draft. Are you kidding me? We didn't even have a draft for Iraq. So we're gonna talk about that. That's the chaos. But what I also want to highlight is something that's just as important or more. At the very same time, we are seeing cracks. We are seeing big red districts flipping blue. Mm-hmm. And support for Trump and this administration continues to soften. I'm going to say that word because I don't want to get us too excited, but it is continuing to soften. And the more people are beginning to question what they're being told. I'm seeing that. So this isn't just a moment of instability. It's really a moment of friction. And what happens, right? It's a moment of friction between control and pushback. A lot of pushback between messaging and reality. And I think when those two things collide, something shifts. So tonight, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the chaos. We're going to talk about what's shifting, see if we can kind of make sense of that and kind of what we all feel about it as we lead up to potentially one of the largest protests we have seen since Trump came down that escalator in 2015, right? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Ready. Let's go.
All right. So let me swing over here. First of all, we've all heard about TSA and everything that's happening there, right? So let's kind of bring some clarity to that. I see a lot, and I'm sure you all have too, all the messaging, the big narrative out there. It's Dems' fault, why you're standing in line for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours because they refuse to fund TSA, blah, 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 blah. Actually, that's not the case. How many times? Who said it? 9 times? Mm-hmm. There's been a proposal to fund everything but ICE. Is that correct?
9 times, yep.
Katie, is that what you?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's hear from actually a Republican who made that very statement. And so if people don't believe what Democrats say, maybe you'll believe what a Republican says. It's hard to know these days.
Have offered to open up everything but ICE. Ted and I said, okay, let's accept their offer. And then at the same time, we would offer a bill for reconciliation where we don't need any Democratic votes to do whatever we wanted to do with ICE. And that way we're out of the shutdown and DHS is back open. We submitted that, Senator Cthulhu submitted that to President Trump, as is his right. He said no deals with the Democrats. It would have worked. We could have had TSA paid by the end of the week, but the president said no deal. The Democrats have offered to open up.
Yeah, the Democrats have offered to open up. Yeah. What are our thoughts on that bit of news?
I think it's important for people to realize that this guy, what does Don call him? Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh yeah. Now say that, boy. Come here.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you need to.
he is a huge Trump supporter. So like the fact that he's going on TV and saying, nope, this is all, I can't even imitate the voice, but like, this is all Trump. Like, that's a big deal.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a minor win for us.
And here's a key takeaway that I noticed in all that. The Democrats were going to agree for them to be able to do whatever they wanted to with ICE without even needing the Democrats' vote. So this is not just about ICE. And I may be veering off, but page 159, Project 2025, Privatizing TSA.
Oh.
You know, I think it's a multi-layered thing. I think it has to do with normalizing seeing ICE in some of these swing states and some of these more important states when it comes to the midterms in November. But I also think that it has more to do with breaking the backs of the TSA workers to privatize TSA.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Who else?
Very good,
Anybody
Mo.
else on that?
They've tried to do that before, haven't they? Am I right or wrong to privatize TSA?
Yes, and they have been blocking them from unionizing. So they've been wanting to do this for a while, but now they have a cooperative regime in place. And so they can go forward with a lot of these plans for privatizing things that they just don't want the government to have a hand in.
Yeah. But remember where we were, before TSA came, 9/11, and they, airports were hiring their own people. And the reason we had TSA is because of that, because, they hijacked those planes. They didn't get their box cutters taken out. Nothing was spotted. And we can't go back to that.
The problem is that they're not passing their audit, so they're not doing a great job anyway. So they got a lot of pushback to try to privatize them.
Yeah, they're not
set them up for it. I'm not saying
not,
we should. I'm just saying they have it.
Yeah.
They're not saying take them out, like go pre 9/11 and not have that security, that layer of security. They're not saying that. They want to privatize them. They do not want them to be a part of DHS.
And what I heard was they want to privatize ICE, not TSA. They want to privatize.
ICE is kind of sort of privatized.
So that's who they want private. I haven't heard they want to do it to TSA.
Yeah. Hi, Marley. Welcome, by the way.
Hi.
Hi, Marley.
Hi, everyone.
So let's watch a little bit of the news around this.
What is
Fusion at U.S. airports this morning as federal ICE agents under orders from President Trump are told to help shorten the security lines. They're now working in at least 14 airports without wearing the masks that bring complaints from their critics, charged with helping move people through security checkpoints.
Where can we help you to move those lines and American people quicker through inspections while at the same time maintaining security at the airport?
Passengers couldn't miss seeing them from here in Atlanta to Houston, New Orleans, Cleveland, Phoenix, and Newark. They are clearly providing police presence and security. But the union that represents TSA officers says that this isn't making the lines move quickly.
ICE agents can't work up a lane and work it. All they can do, like they've been doing, is providing directional support for the police department, working in the atrium areas.
And she says it's not preventing scenes like these.
This is TSA pre-check, y'all. Like, I have been inside the airport and backing out.
There are often massive lines at Atlanta's International Airport running out into the street.
These insane lines, and ICE is super busy at work. Look. The ICE agents didn't talk, they didn't interact with people. It was really just their presence that was there. Seeing them, it kind of made you feel safe, but at the same time, you're still wondering if you're going to make your flight.
In Houston, wait times are truly testing their patients at 270 minutes long. KTRK's Sarah Al-Sheikh was there.
We're inside Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, where this TSA line has levels to it. The line goes one floor below me to the basement and one floor above me to where TSA is. People telling us it's taking them about 5 hours just to make it to the checkpoints.
TSA set a record for calls out again on Sunday, 40% in Atlanta, nearly 40% at Baltimore and Houston Intercontinental, and more than 37% at New York's JFK. TSA officers are now on their 39th day of missing a full paycheck, a job that has an average starting salary of just $35,000.
The president is also now talking about sending in the National Guard to help. It's very hard for people to get a beat on how long these lines are from the websites, for example, because the systems, the cameras that they use to measure the lines only are designed to measure the lines of people inside the airport and not around the block. One piece of advice that we're hearing now is for people to choose to fly at off-peak hours. For example, 5 o'clock last night, it was only a few minutes getting through this security checkpoint behind me.
So keep that in mind. All right, Steve, our thanks to you.
Oh, if you really want to help, fund TSA.
Yeah.
That's it.
I didn't understand that one lady's comment. Why does she feel secure with ICE? Didn't make any sense to me. But.
I guess she's saying that they look like they look like there's some kind of enforcement. It gives you the false fix of security because they're dressed in like combat gear and stuff.
Yeah.
I think she meant that she felt secure, but to me it's a false sense of security because you're in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Linda, 100%. I wonder how TSA feels about ICE being there. They're standing around
and they just standing over the top of them.
I've seen some of them like take selfies and like be on the phone and just shooting the what, and it's like
standing over the other officers while they work, but they're not trained to do the work. So if you're not there to do the work, then you need to go and find something to do.
But TSA is not there because they don't want to be there. They don't have the money to get there. Gas prices are up. Let's keep it to brass tabs. They are not there because they can't afford for babysitters. They can't afford to go to work now.
Oh, yeah, that's what they were saying. They said even if I wanted to go, I can't get the gas to get there and back. And we know almost every airport, with a few exceptions, it's always off in the cut somewhere. Take you a little bit of time to get there.
Why does ICE get paid $200,000 a year and TSA 50?
That's ridiculous.
And meanwhile, our teachers and our nurses are scrapping.
And they're killing people and being disrespectful. And like you said, they're hiding their face. A lot of times they're trying to hide their face. They go in the corner so you can't see them, but we see them. And then they even brought up, it's some of us out there, brown and black people, that are misbehaving as well.
It's money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems to me, I think Mo, you brought it up too, the idea of normalizing this. But I also think the bigger thing is, as long as there's an issue with TSA and people are feeling the hurt by it, they're going to continue to blame Democrats for it. And I think somehow they think this whole thing is going to turn things around for them, Republicans.
Yeah. Elon Musk popped up and said he'll pay for TSA's salary while they off.
And Biden tried to forgive student loans for everybody. He didn't just want to forgive student loans for ICE.
Yeah, I believe that their metric is off and their calculations are off because everything that they try to do is backfiring on them. And as long as people who know the truth keep on putting the message out of what the truth is, this is not going to work in their favor. That the same old line of blaming the Democrats just isn't working anymore.
Yeah. Till you do right by the American people, all you do gonna crumble.
Yeah, I just saw today I was before we jumped on, I was watching this Forbes, report where they were actually, it was a hearing on, DHS, and they had the TSA director there, and it was really a great conversation, because he's like, did you realize that the Democrats actually gave TSA a raise? And she's like, no. She goes, every single Democrat voted yes, and every single Republican voted no. And it was interesting because as soon as he said that and his time was over, we had this Eli guy, who was like, oh, it's funny how like the Democrats keep saying the Republicans are doing this, and it's actually them. The miscommunication and the back and forth of gaslighting is not helping the situation at all.
It's causing further miscommunication.
Yes, exactly. And that's the problem. As soon as someone says the facts, someone else on the other side says, oh, that's not the facts. This is the facts. And it makes people, it's hard to, who do you believe at that point?
Well, that's just like they say that, Mexicans were taking the white people's jobs, and it's like, who want to get on top of a roof and it's 200 degrees outside and go on a shrimp boat and go pick avocados? We don't even want to do it.
All lies.
So ICE is finding evidently something to do while they're in the airports. So let's take a look
Talk on
at
the
that.
telephone.
The mission for ICE agents sent to the nation's airports is to, quote, help TSA with security, help move the flow of people through those lines. And that may be true, but a new report in the New York Times raises the question of whether there's more to that mission. The report points to a TSA program which tips off ICE and has led to detentions at airports, like this tense scene Sunday night in San Francisco when a mother and child were detained by plainclothes agents.
What is your badge number? We need to see your badge number. Show your badge number. Show us the badge. This is an illegal arrest. Show the badge number.
Okay, we'll wait.
I need to see your badge number.
Step back.
I don't know who you are. You could be someone kidnapping her.
Okay, we should call the police. Call the police. Call the police.
Joining us, New York Times reporter Hamed Ali-Aziz, who covers the Department of Homeland Security and immigration policy, along with co-host of FAQ NYC and Fordham University Associate Professor of Political Science, Christina Greer. All right, let's get the facts here. Hamed, talk to me about what TSA has been doing and helping potentially with ICE at airports.
Yeah, I mean, this is a program that launched last spring quietly. And what we found late last year was essentially TSA and ICE are working together in order to alert ICE officers and agents across the country about the impending flights of migrants who have deportation orders. So essentially giving these officers a heads up that these migrants are going to be flying, they're going to be going to the airport at a certain time, and for the officers to be there to arrest them. There was a famous case late last year of a young woman who was visiting her family from Boston Logan Airport to Texas, and she was arrested at Boston Logan Airport by ICE. And that's really the way that I first started to dig into what was going on here. And of course, her case was wrapped up in this program as well.
So it's unclear if that woman, Miss Lopez Jimenez, who was a native of Guatemala, knew that she was under a final deportation order. Am I understanding that correctly, Hamed?
Yeah, a lot of migrants, they get these deportation orders. It's known as in absentia. They haven't shown up to the hearings and the judge orders them removed. There are various levels to these orders. There are certain migrants who do not get notification according to activists and lawyers. And so they just simply don't know when to go to these hearings and they get the deportation orders. And of course, there are those individuals who decide not to go to court and try to stay under the radar and out of the reach of the federal government. So there are hundreds of thousands of these types of cases and these types of orders historically, and she happens to be one of them. We haven't spoken with her yet at this point.
Okay. Whoops, let me just pull that off here.
I wish she wouldn't have went to the airport because she was living in danger anyway. How is she traveling if she's got a deportation order? I don't understand.
I don't understand that either. That part was questionable to me.
Because I actually have people that I know that were undocumented, and they don't travel.
Yeah.
They working on their stuff, but they can't. Like on that kind of travel, I just wonder. That's terrible, though. I don't want to see nothing like that. I'll probably go to jail with her if I see it.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, like, a lot of undocumented people are probably avoiding now going to their appointments and going to court because ICE is right there just to, detain them and deport them.
Especially if you look Hispanic or something, because if you any other thing, just about, they can't look at you and tell. And so they get targeted more than anybody because they look at them and immediately think, oh, what are they doing here? That's the sad part about that.
Something
profiling.
Something that makes me sad too is it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like no matter what, you're going to be taken away in some form or another. And that my heart just goes out to those people. I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that.
And they weren't really wearing any identification that I could see.
Sweatsuit.
So, like, wouldn't you be fighting that? I don't know who these guys are coming up on me, like attacking me. But good for the people that were asking for identification. But it's still scary because that could happen to anybody who's got,
and those
any color
guys,
in their skin.
It hasn't been confirmed or verified yet, but that situation in San Francisco, I believe, happened before he put all the ICE agents in the airports, and San Francisco is actually one airport that uses a private security force. They do not use TSA.
Yeah, you're right.
Advised by
That's
TSA,
right.
but they don't use TSA. And so that explains the lack of uniforms.
So question though, what are your thoughts on TSA being involved and tipping them off? And then so my second question, if TSA is not in this airport, how were they tipped off?
I think this was probably forced on them because Donald was already talking about he wants to get all the flight information from for people that are not supposed to travel. I don't understand why, if it's a misdemeanor, that we're so mean to all these people. If it's just a misdemeanor,
That's the question, right?
What's all the spectacle for?
Well, they have to fill all of these places that they're building, all of these new concentration camps, and they have to fill them.
Anybody that works there, don't tell me you work there because I won't like you anymore and I don't want nothing to do with you. So go and get your job. Not that I'm anybody special. I'm just saying don't bring it over here.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of those camps they're saying, and I saw on some ads, on not just ads, I was looking at some of these YouTubes and shows on television where the minor children, these 13 and 14-year-olds, are getting raped by these ICE people. And they're bringing them to Texas, the state that has the toughest abortion laws, that they put them in a special area or a special place where they don't have abortions and you don't have access to them any longer. So I don't understand why. I mean, it sounds like Epstein files again to me, that they're still raping.
Raping. They're graping them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, anybody seen Nuremberg?
No, but
yes, it's incredible.
It's a really good movie.
I already know the story. It hadn't changed.
Yeah, right.
It is uncanny how we are walking right into the same exact scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the comment that it happened here, and I'm paraphrasing, because people let it. Because nobody stood up.
Yep.
And said anything.
Right.
And
Incredible movie.
Chase Bank has paid off people.
Chase is dirty all in the paint throughout a whole lot of stuff. And my biggest thing is nobody ever pays for it on the white collar end. And so for their crimes. And so what's the incentive not to do it? Oh, I made 6 trillion or 6 billion, but we paid a $200 million fine.
Right.
I'd do it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bernie Madoff, all that 60 some years.
Yeah.
They had that doggone 704 account or 703 account or whatever it's called. They knew.
Article 2, Section 4, right, Andrea?
I'm gonna get my shirt. I just haven't done it yet.
We got
a long
it.
sleeve, a
We
short
got the
sleeve,
merch.
and a tank.
All three.
And skirt that
got
matches it.
I don't know. Do you think this is long term? Do you think ICE is going to stay in the airports for a while? Because I will tell you, I'm not sure I want to travel.
Well,
I don't want to
have
travel in that mess.
I have to travel this weekend, and the only thing I have thought, I mean, I'm not going to let them stop us. What I feel is more of us than it is of them, and until all of us are really ready to come out, all for one and one for all, this is going to continue until we're ready to come out and say, you know what? You need to impeach him. You need to get rid of him, the rest of them, and we're going to take our country back. We must do it. I mean, that's how we fought back during slavery. We said we're not going to have this no more. And until you're tired, until you're sick of being sick and tired, that's when you're going to change.
But in the meantime, we got to have 7 hours at the TSA. Old people can't stand up that long. I might have to go to the bathroom. I travel alone a lot. Then what? I'm just saying, it's just a lot of mess. And you can't leave your bags with nobody. So every time you move, you got to carry your crap with you, and you haven't with it's just too much.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of the problem, Lindy, is that evidently the Supreme Court is involved in this, and Congress. And I really believe it's Democrats, Republicans, and independents that are involved. I just think it's a individual thing, people that are involved with Epstein.
Yeah.
That's why he's
either
not
directly. Go ahead.
Or directly or indirectly. That's I mean, who else would say a president has no limits? And they know he's a criminal. And when they made this decision, he had already been convicted of 34 felony counts already.
Yeah. So either, and what I mean by indirectly, either people who donate to them are involved.
Yeah.
And if we can go back one more, I agree. If the SAVE Act does pass, we are in some serious trouble.
On our show last night, we talked about SAVE. Miss Andrea talked about the SAVE Act, and she started. And afterwards, I had a conversation with a couple of people I know that watched our show, and they was like, "What's this SAVE stuff? SAVE who?" They were like, "It made me." It was like after that, I couldn't hear anything else because it scared them. Said that thing is scary. I said it should be scary.
They're trying to take away our right to vote again.
And so they looking into it, and they was like, now is the SAVE Act the same as Jim Crow 2.0? I said, yeah.
Yes.
But really caught their attention, and they weren't aware of what's going on, and they were like, there was an urgency there, a panic, like what?
It was a Jim Crow 2.0 when they went into Atlanta and they went to another airport and stole the voting machines. And all they're trying to do is get all of our information, not just your voting information, your social security.
Well, they got Palantir taking care of that.
Habits, they want to know all of your habits. Have you noticed lately that on your TV, when you're watching TV, you see more of those dots? Seeing more of them dots. It's been a lot of people that's been up on the polls lately. The signals, they're doing a lot of stuff they shouldn't be doing right now. And I said, I can only die once, and I'm not scared of dying. I've lived a good life.
And we will
Let's go back to Jazzy. I want to she's absolutely correct. It's terrifying how many people are in their own information bubbles to the point where this is the first some are hearing of the SAFE Act.
Yes.
Yes,
True.
Jazzy,
Yeah.
yes. And I'm so glad that we were able to enlighten, even if it's just a few people, to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what's going on.
I've been told by family members, why do I listen to these stories so much and am so involved? I said, I've always been involved. If you grew up when I grew up and people were getting shot, drugged behind cars and hung up in trees, you'd be involved. You're not going to watch it just disappear. They know people get married. Men get married to men now and change their names. Men get married to women now and they change their name and not necessarily vice versa. So, I mean,
And she was like, I can't get a passport that soon. I can't do this right now. I can't vote if that goes through. I said, exactly.
And when I first started talking about the SAVE Act, a passport was $130. And now it's up to $165. And I've only been talking about it a month or so.
And it depends on what state you get it in, because Massachusetts, for example, is where I was at when I got my new one, and I had to pay an additional $50 for Massachusetts to process it.
And
Well,
the
it seems-
last person just said, I'm sorry, that was true, that they said
Right.
some of the veterans voted for Trump and they got their benefits taken away. I'm sorry, Marlon.
Oh, it's okay. I was just gonna say, like, add that, as far as the SAVE Act, it seems like they want only rich people, I guess, to vote. And also, I feel like it's gonna backfire on them. Obviously, it's hurting us as citizens and our right to vote. But a lot of Trump supporters aren't going to be able to vote too. So, or
I
have
don't
the
know if
money,
it's only
or have the
rich.
money.
What'd you say, August?
I don't think it's only rich, Marley. I really think it's a certain type of people they want to vote.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a certain type. It's not only rich, it's a certain type
Right.
of people that will, because middle class, and we know that most of those red states are not going to put out the money to afford a passport. If they don't have it by now, they don't intend to have it. So I just only wanted to make sure that we're, speaking to that type of genre. It's more than just rich people.
Those that are involved and can't afford it, and anybody who can't afford it, then we probably don't need you.
Yeah, so there's $165 to get a passport. Now, if you get your passport plus, the passport card, then it's $195. And a lot of
it's
people
almost
with these
$210.
prices, it's ridiculous. I'm in there's only 5 states that actually have, like that's kind of like that real ID where you can use it for voting. And Michigan, I'm lucky Michigan's one, but I actually had to, because I don't have my marriage license or anything, because I moved so much. And I literally had to go to the Social Security office, wait there, get a printout to prove that my name was changed to the year I said to what I have, just to get my Michigan license. Where when I moved to Texas, it was like, here you go, birth certificate's fine, even it had a different name, so that's a big impact right there. Is it's really targeted, I think, in a lot of the red states where they don't have this requirement.
Well, let me piggyback on what you're talking about, Lori.
Let Maureen get in.
And inside, and I'll let Maureen get in. The inside track is that you don't really need that little card. The little card is not like a real ID or an enhanced ID. So you're kind of just wasting money getting that little passport card. Before, you used to could use it to travel to Puerto Rico and other places. Right now, it's null and void. So don't even waste your time. Maureen, over to you.
I was just going to say, when Trump was talking today, he used California as a target on voting. He's targeting us. He's saying that we're very illegal of what we're doing with our voting. Do you know that California, and I've lived here all my life, and Kim could back me up on this, we've never had any problems with voting. Never.
No.
And we
No.
melt in, we go to the box, we can put them in a box 2 weeks before, or we could go in person. And I don't understand him in this identity thing. That is it's going to keep people from voting, and that's not right.
And
But
he's
now,
just.
but
and
now
he's
we
just-
have a sheriff, real quick, and now we have a
Oh,
sheriff
yes.
who is running for governor, who in Riverside, who has taken possession of over 500,000 ballots from the election that we held on the redistricting.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Has
We have
taken it
time.
and done what with it?
Well, he's claiming fraud.
Oh,
He's
snap.
claiming that they're going to audit. But the problem is the minute there's a process by which you do that, which they didn't follow. The minute they have their hands on these ballots.
Chain of custody is broken.
Chain of custody, absolutely. And this man has no business having custody of these ballots.
That's so wrong. And that's a violation of the constitutional rights, isn't it? Because you know that I vote and who I voted for, it ain't none of your business.
Correct. Correct. If we have time, we'll talk. I pulled that up to talk about later if we have time. But yeah,
Republicans
that's
always want to cheat. They're just
Always
a bunch
doing
of cheaters.
something.
God.
if they put this much effort into actually creating policies that help the American people, look where we'd be as a country. I mean,
Exactly.
It's just so infuriating. So anything else on ICE? Because we're going to switch gears.
Nothing but melt them bastards. Melt them. We can use the water.
Exactly. So not only is there chaos here at home, but it's also a continuing saga of this illegal war.
Says negotiations are underway with Iran, even as the U.S. prepares to send more troops to the region. According to the Associated Press, the Trump administration had submitted a 15-point ceasefire plan to Tehran. But the Iranian military is mocking the president's claims of negotiations. In this pre-recorded video, an Iranian military spokesperson said, quote, "Don't dress up your defeat as an agreement." President Trump had a much different outlook yesterday when he told our Ed O'Keefe that Iran gave the U.S. a big present related to oil and gas.
Why bother talking to them? Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is.
It makes me sick.
Very mysterious. Meanwhile, fighting is still underway in the region. Overnight, Israel and Iran traded strikes, and Tehran says it fired missiles at U.S. military bases in Kuwait, in Jordan, and Bahrain. We've got team coverage on all of this for you this morning. Holly Williams is tracking the fighting from Tel Aviv. We'll speak with her in just a moment, but let's begin with CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro in our Washington, D.C. bureau. Aaron, good morning. So the U.S. and Iran right now are sending much different messages when it comes to negotiations. Clarify exactly what the president is saying now.
Errol, President Trump has said that these negotiations with Iran allegedly began since this weekend and went into yesterday. He has claimed that there have been 15 points of agreement that have been sent to Iran. We have learned that that has been sent through an intermediary country in Pakistan, and that Iran has agreed to 3 big points, or at least the president's top 3 points, which is preventing them from ever being able to build a nuclear weapon. Take a listen to what he told reporters in the White House earlier yesterday afternoon.
We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it. And the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
Now, in regards to
So
that gift
stupid.
that President Trump mentioned, and you saw a clip of that earlier in the show, the president said it was related to oil and gas and the Strait of Hormuz, but did not clarify on what exactly that was. As you mentioned, Iran has repeatedly denied that these negotiations were happening in the first place, as they have suggested through spokespeople such as the Speaker of the Parliament or that military spokesperson that you just heard a clip from, that the president is saying that there are negotiations happening in order to alleviate oil markets that have really ramped up the pressure for him domestically to end this war.
And Aaron, the U.S. now expected to deploy troops from the 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East. Tell us about this group and where they might go.
Yeah, this is about 1,500 troops heading to the Middle East, including a command element and some ground forces. That is in combination with 3 warships and about 2,200 Marines that have been on their way to the Middle East. They left a couple weeks or so ago from California. We know that President Trump has been briefed on potential military actions, including the use of ground troops and potentially special forces to seize enriched uranium that can be used to build a nuclear bomb in Iran. But sources have also said that he has not yet made a final decision, even as he says publicly that he has decided not to send troops.
All right, Aaron Navarro in Washington.
Well, I
It's
don't
gonna
know.
get out of control.
It's a toss-up. Who do you believe?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't believe Trump. That's for sure.
I know it. I know it.
Yeah.
That's a daggone
I mean-
shame when you gotta believe the enemy supposedly.
Exactly.
But he's a big liar. And it was just like Kendrick said, it was God's plan to show us the liar. And he keep exposing him all the time, but the man is so sick, he just keep lying like we can't see stuff. And then he's doing it on purpose. He's creating confusion, and I do believe he's manipulating the market.
Oh, I agree,
Oh,
100%.
for sure.
And
Yeah.
it's not just right now. He's been like that his whole life.
Yeah.
He's manipulated people. He's hurt people. He's thrown people out of their homes. And on the East Coast.
But if you listen to him, he tells on himself.
He had such tunnel vision to think he was going to do all this wonderful stuff for him. No way. No way. That's not who he is, obviously.
I
was
enjoyed those
sicko.
songs. I enjoyed those songs yesterday about Trump.
What songs?
It was in the chat.
My coworker
What song?
today.
You haven't heard them? They're in the chat.
Yeah.
No.
I
So
wanted to
kinda-
say that my coworker today, he was discharged from the Navy, I think like a year ago. And he was saying that he was reading a text and his friend was saying how he was being deployed to Iran. And we asked my coworker if he could he be called up? And he said no, but if there's a draft, he would be one of the first to be called up. So these are affecting people that I know personally, and it's really sad to see that happening.
And they raised the enlistment age to 42 that I saw today.
Yeah.
They got bones. They really got bones first. Flat feet, bursitis.
I did a deeper dive into that, Lori. That is for voluntary enlistment.
Okay.
The draft is still 18 to
25, something like that.
25. The first to be called up would be the 20-year-olds, then the 21 to 25, then the 19-year-olds, then the 18-year-olds. They have not raised the age of the draft. That's just for voluntary enlistment.
Okay.
That's disgusting either way with that.
Why do
I
we
don't want the
stand-
draft because when you got, it's like me trying to find motivation to fight your fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard to do.
But fight that there should be no war. There should be no fight. This is all pointless. And it's really sad that people are dying for nothing.
Exactly.
For no reason.
We're sending these babies over there. They're babies.
They ain't gonna send none of my babies over there. I know that.
Well, let's listen to a little bit about this. I thought this was kind of interesting about the draft.
Military draft? Are you fucking kidding me? You think that Gen Z and millennials, younger millennials,
are going to go get drafted to fight in the Iran war, you've got to be outside of your fucking mind.
Draft? I don't think I could even do a pull-up, to be honest. I definitely can't fight in a war. Amazing.
Who would be eligible and ineligible for the draft?
Very good question. All U.S. Men, that is citizens, non-citizens, even undocumented immigrants, are required by federal law to register with the Selective Service Administration.
You want to fight for you,
Hope that
but
there is a draft. Okay, I really do hope the United States government activates the Selective Service.
Here are some legal ways to avoid or defer the draft. If you're a U.S. male between the ages of 18 to 25, these rules apply to you.
There are a lot of people out there worried about getting drafted, going in the military, serving in a war that they don't agree with. Let's break this down. I want to hear some of your thoughts down below. As somebody that went to the last war, been through all this stuff, and had to sign up for the Selective Service like all males have to, we're going to talk about it. Let's go.
I think this military draft, are you?
I'll tell you who talked about it. Graham Plattner. Graham Plattner laid it out. He said, I went to the last bullcrap war that I wasn't supposed to be in, and my life would be better if I hadn't went. And what you're trying to do is make them do what we did, and so on and so forth. He broke it down like a shotgun.
Yeah, that was Vietnam. And just after the Vietnam War, they said no more drafting. And when I started hearing this story, I just shook my head. All that activism and how we fought to not have the draft anymore. And this, I'll say, this asshole president is deciding he's going to take our young men and our young women. And I would fight that tooth and nail.
But meanwhile, he said the trans can't do it. If they want to do it, let them do it. Because they're not going.
But undocumented immigrants can be. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, they'll want to send them first over. Oh, all the white people, they need to keep them voting. It's just the hypocrisy is just
the
levels of it.
And then deport them when they get back.
Yeah, they sure will. But that's what happened in World Wars I and II. The black people went and fought, and when they got back, they was treated like the N-word instead of a citizen.
Yeah.
Well,
that's if they let them come back.
It goes back to the Civil War, though. Remember the movie Glory?
The 54th Regiment.
Yep.
I know all about Glory. And and this is kind of funny, break it up a little bit. They were talking about something the other day about the Revolutionary War, and the first person that died in it was Crispin Attucks. And they said, I think it was D.L. Hughley said, I don't think it's as grandiose and great as it was. I said, I think they told him, hey, bruh, go over there and see if anybody coming. And they was like, boom. He said, the British are here.
All right. So all of this chaos, all of this, I mean, it feels like we are literally falling apart, but I will tell you there's a ray of sunshine in there, even just the finest little ray of sunshine. And I want to make sure we get to that before we run out of time.
Oh, yeah.
Us now is the Democrat who flipped this seat, Emily Gregory. Emily, thanks for joining us. You are still fresh off this win. How are you feeling this morning? What do you think this race came down to?
Well, thank you so much. I am feeling pretty good. It was a pretty exciting night. I'm very proud. I'm just proud of all of the hard work that my campaign, that all of the volunteers, that this army of neighbors that came together to knock as many doors as humanly possible, to make as many phone calls, and to get in front of as many voters as we could.
You didn't want this race to be a referendum on President Trump, but he's hard to avoid, and now he will be one of your constituents. How much did people talk to you about the president?
I would say roughly zero. I mean, it really was not a factor for any of my voters, any of my now constituents. They're focused on their lives. They're focused on the absolute crushing cost of goods, the squeeze they are feeling, why their property insurance has skyrocketed, why they're losing their health care, why are our public schools being gutted. That's what I heard every single day at the door, not the most famous constituent down the road.
So you think affordability was the winning issue for you?
Unfortunately, yes. It's because this affordability crisis is so real. It's because we are all really struggling to keep up and to provide for our families. Property insurance is just out of control. Ours is up personally over 300%. Wow. And that's a real grift on the policyholder. And I want to go to Tallahassee and fight for Florida families. And that's what I'm going to do.
As we noted, Republicans won really big in this district in 2024, 19 points. Donald Trump, 11 points. But this area used to be considered a Democratic stronghold. Why did that change, and has the tide turned again?
Yeah, I think Palm Beach County is traditionally blue. I think it was the most purple it's ever been this last cycle. But I think I always think in less in red and blue terms. I think of, are you representative of your neighbors? Are you looking for pragmatic solutions? And that's who I am. And I think that's who most of my neighbors are, is we are looking for the things that we agree on, which far outweigh the things that we disagree on. We all want safety. We all want a path to prosperity. And that's what you have to focus on, and that's what you have to deliver.
Emily Gregory, thank you for joining us.
So it's interesting. How do you not tie all those things to Trump is my question. And while you're discussing that, I will be right back. So sorry.
I think she's scared. I think some people scared we got a little softness, we'll say. They soft in the middle. And so it's just like, oh, I don't want to make this about Trump. Well, why not? I understand, but like that all affordability, all that comes back to him. So it is about him. But they don't want to say it because he's right there.
So something that I looked up too, and I wanted to make sure it was accurate, so I researched it, is not only is this win important, but so you guys know, since Trump took office, Republicans have flipped 0 seats and Democrats have flipped 30 seats between special elections, special elections, state elections, House of Delegates, all of those things. So that is something really important.
But he's not winning the war, is he?
And it's not like it's not like these are super blue areas either. That they're flipping.
Yeah.
And I think that that's also something that we need to acknowledge and show importance to, because like in states like Virginia, they had, what was it? Give me 1 second. Virginia flipped.
Yeah, I was there when they
the
did
House
it.
of Delegates flipped 13 seats this year. 13 seats, and the New Jersey General Assembly also flipped 5 seats. And those are some pretty huge things to celebrate. I'm just saying.
And some of the soldiers said they're failing the drug screen so that they don't have to get deployed.
I saw that. They're smoking weed before they get tested.
I'm a crackhead. Like, we don't want you. They be like, here, go to rehab and come back and sign up tomorrow. I'm gonna give you 2 weeks to get clean.
You won't know the war happened, huh?
Unfortunately, Ryan, I don't know how many socialists are out of those 30, because I've also been doing some APAC stuff research. But at this point, we can't be as picky and choosy, but we still need to be aware of who's taking from where.
We'll say we put our dang down, flip it and reverse it. Hey, flip it and reverse it. Call me Flipper. I'm the boss on this boat. You can call me Flipper. The way I turn the money over, you could call me. Anyway, I'm done.
All right. Yeah, Mamdani was huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
the
Mamdani type of Democrat is who they're referring to. How many out of the 30? So just to answer that question, I don't know why they have to label everything. But
every little thing, and that's the problem. Take some of these labels off and just say people were more liked than different.
A lot of these rich people have stole the money from people that deserve it.
Yeah. So not only are we flipping seats, we're just going to watch a little bit of this, not a whole lot. But the poll numbers.
Republican-held state House seat, whose district includes President Trump's Mar-a-Lago Resort. CNN chief data analyst Harry Endon is with me now. I mean, ouch.
How delicious for Democrats this morning. My goodness gracious, they're waking up. Maybe they're going to get
so
brunch
funny.
at Mar-a-Lago and say, yummy, yummy, because this result will make their stomachs feel quite good indeed. Florida's 87th House District election margin, Sarah is laughing over there. Look at this. In 2024, Donald Trump won it by 11 points. Look at this swing all the way to the left. We got Gregory, the Democrat, winning it by 2 points in this state house special election. I will also note that they flipped a state Senate district as well further north in the state. So double fun for Democrats in a state that they have been struggling with. Democrats have lost so much power in Florida over the last decade, and then they're able to win in Donald Trump's backyard. Democrats are absolutely loving it this morning.
I'm laughing because you said that they were going to have brunch at Mar-a-Lago. Yummy, yummy. Really? Really? Is that what's going to happen?
Food is always on my mind because I intermittent fast.
Clearly. All right. How does this fit what we've seen nationwide so far?
Yeah, okay.
Kind of follows a trend, right?
Yeah, it absolutely follows a trend. Look, what is happening around Mar-a-Lago is not just staying at Mar-a-Lago. It's expanding out. I mentioned that other district of the state Senate district they flipped last night in Florida, but it's not just there. It's nationwide as well. Take a look here. Okay, the average 2025, 2026 special election so far. Democrats are doing, get this, 12 points better, up like a rocket versus Kamala Harris's baseline in 2024. This 12 points, very similar to this 13-point swing that we saw right in Florida, right around Mar-a-Lago in the 87th district. And I will note, I was counting it up. I believe that is about a dozen different special elections in which we have seen a flip from Republican control to Democrat control. So what is happening and happened last night in Florida is really emblematic of what we have seen nationwide so far, which is Democrats very much outrunning the baseline from 2024.
All right.
That's all we needed to hear. Yes, 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 yes. There was more, but doesn't mean we're out of the woods.
No.
We're winning so much. I can't believe it. I'm not tired of it.
If they still in the machines, that's the worry.
Well, yeah. And
But that was
in the balance in California.
But that was finger looking good. That was some tasty, tasty.
It was.
The secret sauce that they
I don't know if I want to eat Mar-a-Lago secret sauce.
Well, I was
Mar-a-Lago away. That's what I call it.
No, we don't. All right. So there is some good news, but we also know the more this continues, the more they're going to try to take hold of the midterms. So we have to stay vigilant. We have to get out and protest this Saturday, everybody, this Saturday. So we're going to talk about what we're going to be doing Saturday. And we'll talk a little bit more about before we close. Right now, I think it's time for Miss August. I heard she's on the move again.
Absolutely, I'm on the move. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm not going to show a video. I want you to give me your undivided attention because I'm going to run down the cost of war. When you don't ask your fellow friends to help you or invite them in, it will cost you. So keep that in mind. Public trust is one of them. Military expenses. Do you know we're paying $12 billion a day? $12 billion to fund this war. Global oil supplies. Potential of other major global powers. China, Russia. The cost of war. Economic costs. Let's talk about long-term effects. Taking care of veterans. They already cut their benefits. So what's going to happen with those that have gone on to war and become veterans? Cutting back on veterans' benefits is critical, and they have done it. Global markets, inflation, energy prices, impact on domestic opportunities, asking for war, and then asking for help. Redirect money from institutions such as infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Senior food programs have been affected.
Those on wheels.
Somebody has to pay. And guess who is paying? We are. This is the cost of war. But let's see what our Rachel Maddow has to say, because Rachel is always on the move with it. So I'm trying to make sure I could get Miss Rachel. It always gets stuck. But another thing that has cost us, until I can get Rachel back up, that I would like you to think of, travel. So many people we've talked about being sitting inside of it, but these are the countries that have now banded together to let you know. Costa Rica joined Aruba, Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago, Dominican Republic, the Cayman Islands, and others in skyrocketing Caribbean tourism. So tourism has now shifted. People are no longer going to Disneyland, Disney World. These are the new hottest places that are taking over. The growth with the sufficient surge in tourism arrives from the US in 2026. Everything you need to know. So, if you're planning a trip, you're going to stand in those long lines. But once you leave out of here, you can sit back and relax. Keep that in mind. This war is costing us big time. Please check on your friend. Back over to you, Kim.
And mute. Thank you, August. While you were doing that, I was taking some polls in our chat asking who was going to be attending the No Kings protest. So in our vertical, we have a 60% no on that. And in our landscape,
survey,
we have a 75% yes. It's in the chat.
Okay.
Should be in the chat. It's a poll. It's a poll. So I'm glad to see people are going. Yes, yes, yes. We have to get out if you can. We will. What we've done through all the past No Kings protests is to do a live and show you all the protests that are happening and show you the ones that our panels usually go to. I always go to one. So we either try to show live or we try to show videos. So we will let you know exactly what times and what we're doing on Saturday for that. So keep that in mind. Anybody here, just some last comments about what we talked about or about the protest or anything you want to bring up before we head out?
So go ahead, Lori.
Oh, sorry. Where I live, like the last protest, it was just in Petoskey. And I live in northwestern Michigan, between, the Upper Peninsula and Traverse City on Lake Michigan side. So now for this one, when I signed up, not only there's one in my town, but there's one in Gaylord, there's one in Petoskey, there's tons all around the area now. So I'm going to try to hit all three of them if I can. I'm bringing my camera with me. I'm bringing my microphone and everything so I can see what I can film. So I'm hoping, the last one was really a great protest. It might not seem like a lot of people in Petoskey, but there were a lot of people, especially a lot of elderly people, like in their 80s, even 90, that I
I met
spoke
some
with.
older.
Yeah, and they were livid. I talked to some nice women who were like actually worked in the government for decades, and they are just not having it.
Yeah. And I just want to point out what Ryan is saying. Yes, if everyone didn't go to work for a week, the system would crash.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
And a national boycott works too. We do know that financial boycotts are hitting them in the pockets. Does work.
So when August said Miss Rachel, it made me think. So I have a toddler, so I know who Miss Rachel is. But if you don't know who she is, she's an advocate for children all over the world and has done some amazing work in Gaza. But her activism freed a mute, I believe it was a mute special needs child in the Dilley Detention Center in Texas, and she's working with some officials to try to get it shut down.
Oh wow, that's
Because,
amazing.
yeah, she's been in communication with some people and trying to talk to some kids and help, and would use her advocacy for good, and we need more people like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Katie. So anybody else? I want to make sure everybody gets their chance to speak. Okay, we'll talk more about the protest on Friday. Just a reminder, please like and subscribe when you like. It gives that algorithm a boost and gets us out to more people so that we can make sure we're sharing this information with more people.
And if you can, hype us up too, because it's hype up our show.
Also, if you're so inclined, we just reached the level where we can offer memberships. So again, if you're so inclined, please become a member and support our work. And again, Friday, we will talk about the protests. So we are here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. And then you got to fill in the Mountain and Central time gaps. We have people from everywhere. All right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you so much. We love talking to you. We love your comments. Jazzy, thank you. We appreciate you so much. You have no idea. We can't do this without you. So thanks, everybody. Mwah. We will see you on Friday. And just, keep up the hope. Keep up the positive vibes.
Jesse Jackson.
And keep smiling. Up with hope, down with dope.
One person can make a difference.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
We the people unite.